on, good people? It's David Johns, and I'm back with another installment of Three Things. First up, so you do not miss it, Spirit Day is today, Thursday, October 21st. Now, each year on this day, millions of people go purple in symbolic solidarity with the LGBTQ and same-gender-loving youth that exist in the world to unite against bullying and harassment. Now, we should all be clear that at least as I often say, I've never met a child who asked to be born, and in particular, trans, queer, and non-binary and non-conforming youth face bullying and harassment at disproportionate rates. Consider, for example, that more than 80% of LGBTQ plus students reported verbal harassment in the last year alone. Now, I'd like everyone to reflect on just how high that number is, more than 80%. And those of us who understand the way that intersectionality works should also not be surprised to hear that Black youth who are assumed to be trans, queer, non-binary, and non-conforming face compounded challenges due to their intersecting marginalized identities. To be clear, it's no fault of their own. According to a report that was authored by NBJC and GLSEN titled Erasure and Resilience, nearly 40% of Black LGBTQ plus students surveyed experience harassment or assault at school due to both their sexual orientation as well as their race and ethnicity. And this is likely underreporting because of how things like this work, especially when talking about children. What we should note, the takeaway is that our babies are screaming for help, and we have to listen to them if we have any hope of our future being all that we hope it'll be. Wearing purple on the 21st is an excellent way to show that you are a safe space for our babies. And it could also inspire someone to invite you in by them sharing important parts of who they are and how they show up in the world. I encourage you to share photos of yourself going purple and to tag NBJC on the move and to use the hashtag #ProtectTheBabies. Second, more bad news out of the state of Texas, as legislation banning transgender youth from participating in sports consistent with their gender identity has passed both chambers and is now on its way to the governor's desk. And no surprise, the governor has indicated that he will sign the bill into law because this is a state where hate reigns supreme. In case you missed it, we've seen more than 130 anti-trans bills introduced across the country this legislative session alone, and 13 of those bills have already been enacted. Now, if codified, Texas will become the state with the largest LGBTQ plus population to enact anti-trans legislation of this sort, which should be a concern for all of us, as it would affect so many who are already vulnerable members of our beautifully diverse community, and it also could spur additional states to enact their own anti-trans legislation. As I think about the fact that both of my parents are born and raised in Austin, Texas, it is incredibly difficult to articulate just how infuriating and heartbreaking it is to see the trans community be targeted repeatedly for simply existing, all while their lives continue to be stolen at an alarming rate, which I'll note is an issue that those in power continue to largely ignore. On this year's Spirit Day, and in recognition of the intent of Spirit Day, and as we work to hashtag protect our babies from bullying in school, we must also protect them from bullies in the state legislature. Essentially, let's protect them from anti-trans legislation and the trash advocates who push for it. Those who introduce and work to pass these bills are bullies with power, and the decisions that they make invariably have massive repercussions, not only for the safety of our children and youth, but for the future of our country. Third, the film B-Boy Blues will have its world premiere next month at the American Black Film Festival, ABFF. Now, based on the book written by James Earl Hardy, B-Boy Blues is an unapologetic love story. It's a love story between a college-educated journalist from Brooklyn and a bike messenger from Harlem. And in this moment, it's bringing back all kind of memories of my times in New York. Now, this film is full of both Love Win Wednesday worthy notes as well as celebrations of Black excellence. And this is, of course, a reflection of its two lead actors, Timothy Richardson and Thomas Mackie, its director, Jussie Smollett, and co-executive producer, the brilliant Samson McCormick. And I just absolutely love to see all of this talent collaborating on the same project. Oh, and wait until you get into the soundtrack as well. Gay by Face, inside joke. Now, I've been excited about this film ever since Samson first shared news of it, and I can hardly wait to finally see it. Stay tuned because there might be news about a virtual premiere to share. Now, this film again displays Black same-gender-loving representation, love amongst our community in ways that so many of us have been wanting and needing. More diversity and representations of Black love is so vital, not only for members inside our community, but as well as for members outside our community. It's important really for people to see our lives more fully reflected around them and in the world. The American Black Film Festival takes place November from the 3rd to the 28th, and I encourage you to mark those dates on your calendar. You'll want to find ways to support this amazing film. I'll see you next week.